New York Mets fans, assemble. Although the team's 2022 season ended with a disappointing loss to the Padres in the National League wildcard series, there's some exciting news. Recently, the team has been on a free agent spending frenzy, stacking up quite an impressive 2023 rotation. In this video, we're going to discuss the newest addition to the Mets rotation, Kodai Senga, and the prospects of the team, so let's dive in. First off, what kind of deal has Kodai Senga signed with the Mets? The news was confirmed on the 10th of December by the Post's Joel Sherman, and some particulars were also revealed. It's a 5-year contract worth a whopping $75 million, which officially adds Kodai Senga to the Mets' 2023 roster. There is an opt-out choice after the third year, as it's a free agent contract, which of course relieves the Mets from having to pay a posting fee to sign him. Lastly, a no-trade clause has been added to the Japanese pitcher's contract as well. The 30-year-old right-hander is going to be joining as the third addition to the Mets' new rotation, which already consists of American League Cy Young winner Justin Verlander and left-hander Jose Quintana. Both of those pitchers have signed a 2-year contract with the team, the former being worth $86.7 million and the latter $26 million. The trio is expected to be led by Max Scherzer, with Carlos Carrasco, David Peterson, and Tyler McGill all present on the roster. Man, the New York Mets are coming in hot. Owner Steve Cohen and general manager Billy Epler seemed determined to bolster the team's starting rotation, and at this rate, they're going to have a strong year ahead of them. Bagging one of Japan's most coveted pitchers has got to be a step in the right direction, pitting them right up against longtime rival team the New York Yankees. Next, what is it about Senga that makes him so much of a steal for the Mets? Right now, you might be wondering, okay, but what's so special about this Senga guy? Of course, hailing from Japan and playing in over 11 seasons with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks might have made him relatively unknown to the local American baseball fan, but Senga's sheer talent definitely hasn't gone unnoticed by the officials and scouts. The numbers speak for themselves on this one. In his last season with his previous team, the right-hander posted an impressive 1.94 ERA and 156 strikeouts in 144 innings. This isn't average stuff, we tell you. Across his 11 seasons playing in Nippon professional baseball, the Japanese pitcher recorded a 2.59 ERA with 10.3 strikeouts and 3.4 walks per 9 innings too. And to top that off, he's got an 104-51 record with a 2.42 ERA in 1,340 and 2/3 innings over 275 starts. One of the facts about Senga that makes him stand out is that he's been a disciple of Yu Darvish, the San Diego Padres right-hander, and has trained with him in the offseason. This gives him an edge over his other Japanese fellow players, as only a few get to train in the United States. The only slight issues in his performance yet are command problems and some minor elbow injuries, but those are pretty easily remedied. The 30-year-old's pitching arsenal includes a fastball that has managed to reach triple digits, along with a split-finger fastball that's named the Ghost Fork because of how it disappears before reaching the plate. Senga already has his own lore, folks. Coming up, adding to the Japanese pitcher's praise are the Mets officials. You might point out Senga has yet to win the prestigious Sawamura Award that's granted to the best pitcher in Japan, but as soon as you hear all the praise the Major League Baseball officials have showered him with, you'll think twice. The New York Mets manager Buck Showalter talked about this new addition in the winter meetings and said that he liked Senga. He added that projecting Japanese pitchers is difficult, but in this particular case, a good pitcher is a good pitcher. Billy Epler, the general manager of the Mets, has also said that Senga is a very talented pitcher. It makes sense for him to say that, though, considering he's the one who added the Japanese player to his team in the first place. Epler has only ever signed 2 other Japanese players in the past, one of them being Masahiro Tanaka for the Yankees and the other being Shohei Ohtani for the Angels. This puts Kodai in a pretty distinguished position, being one of only 3 players to be selected from his home country. Lastly, why do the Mets need to refresh their roster? It's no secret the team's season ended on a pretty low note with a staggering 6-0 loss to the San Diego Padres in the National League wildcard series Game 3. Along with that, they had to say goodbye to the postseason way earlier than any of us could have expected. Unfortunately, even their 101 victories didn't get them a National League East title. This officially makes it 36 seasons since the Mets have won the World Series title, which, as pitcher Max Scherzer describes, is a kick in the balls. But what went wrong? Well, for starters, Scherzer himself delivered a pretty lackluster performance in Game 1, allowing 7 earned runs. To add to the mess, number 3 starter Chris Bassitt faced some control problems, allowing runs in 4 innings. He was promptly removed afterwards, which makes it his second time, the first being when he failed to complete 3 innings in Atlanta. As if the game wasn't already in shambles, Joe Musgrove had to be checked by umpires for illegal substances on his cap, glove, and behind his ear. Obviously, some changes were in order for the offseason. Jacob deGrom initiated this by signing with the Rangers on a 5-year, $185 million contract. He was replaced by Justin Verlander, while the overhauling of Taijuan Walker and Chris Bassitt has brought back center fielder Brandon Nimmo in an 8-year, $162 million contract, along with David Robertson in a 1-year, $10 million contract. Pretty big changes, right? Now let's move on to why a pitcher like Kodai Senga or Chris Bassett is a need for big spending Mets. Starting off with, what does the Mets' luxury budget look like? Seems like Steve Cohen is really determined to turn the Mets into a perennial winner. Why, you ask? Well, it's all in the numbers he's willing to sacrifice. As of now, the team's competitive balance tax payroll is estimated to be around $345 million. This is calculated by adding the average annual value of all their deals. This is a far cry from how conditions were in the past. Avid MLB fans will remember players were signed by waiting until the end of winter to see who was on the market. And in the case of the Mets, even in the years when free agents were available at the start of spring, the general manager would wait until the end of the year due to payroll constraints. It is unbelievable then to think that money matters have become considerably trivial for the team now. With the addition of the luxury tax bill, arbitration pay raises, and the extra outfielder, the CPT payroll will be pushing a humongous $400 million this year. Their $58 million luxury bill alone is going to be more than some teams will get to spend altogether. And after all, the fourth luxury tax threshold is nicknamed after Steve Cohen. Moving on, why is Cohen spending so much on bagging players like Kodai Senga? We know it seems like a ridiculous amount, but there is some reason for this madness. Although the luxury tax often acts like a salary cap, there isn't really an official salary floor in this league, so why hold back? It only seems logical to invest in the best of the best talent to strengthen the team's prospects. Once that has been secured, as with the 2023 rotation of the Mets, the spending can be scaled back. Simple. The overspending on the offseason also guarantees the Mets' position as tough competition for their rival teams in the future, so it really is a win-win situation. If we get into the nitty-gritty and consider the contracts the team has secured as of yet, only Brandon Nimmo, Kodai Senga, Edwin Diaz, Francisco Lindor, and Starling Marte are signed past 2024. The goal is to train the other supporting players who are mostly underdogs right now so that they are star players by then. These include the likes of David Peterson, Tyler Miguel, and Brett Beatty. Of course, this strategy is fallible as there's really no guarantee the untapped potential will be harvested in time, but oh well, something is better than nothing, right? The Los Angeles Dodgers and Houston Astros have managed to pull this scheme off successfully in the past, though, so our bets are on the Mets for now. Last but not least, fans have been skeptical about Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer's additions. This one has to do solely with the players' ages. Justin Verlander is 39, and Max Scherzer is in his late 30s too, which leads to the question of them making $43 million by 2024. Yes, this is a lot of money to spend on just two players, but once we consider their shared titles, it does begin to make much more sense. Between them, they have managed to bag 3 World Series titles and 6 Cy Young Awards. This makes them a formidable duo in the Mets rotation and is certainly going to contribute to huge wins in October. It's all riding on the big promise of them winning either a pennant or a World Series this fall, as it'll contribute to a winning culture surrounding the Mets and put them in a much better position than the one they started in. Another smart move by Steve Cohen is that he's staying away from long-term contracts, which might end up proving to be dangerous for their prospects. Once the higher-up talents like Senga and Verlander are off the books, the team may look into getting under the luxury tax threshold. That is a wrap for this video. What do you think about Kodai Senga's addition to the Mets roster? Has his Japanese baseball career sufficiently proved his ability? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and we'll see you in the next one.